This evening's video, I hope, will showcase even more to you, the Irish public, how on Garda Síochána, the DPP curated and manufactured a story, and how they have created a fictional gang, which we have detailed over the last few videos, and tried to, as I say, create a gang that in some way had a connection with Aaron Brady. And we have shown, I think to date, that that fictional gang, well, it's fictional, it simply does not exist. And Aaron Brady had nothing to do whatsoever with the murder and robbery at Lordship Credit Union. Now, this evening's video is in relation to a walkie-talkie one of the credit union workers seen in one of the raiders' hands. And it sort of encapsulates a lot of what we've covered before, and it sort of ties it all together. It looks at the mobile phone activity, obviously, in relation to Brendan Graham and I think Pat Marry and the authorities tried to portray the scenario that the cell site analysis was not reliable because there's mountains and water on the Cooley Peninsula, which is stretching the bounds of the imagination to the nth degree. We're looking at, obviously, you see there the web. We know there's 5 people involved on the site at the murder and robbery at the credit union. And I think we can accept that there are other people on the periphery who are involved. So we're looking for some sort of connection or connectivity between 7, 8 or 9 people, which simply hasn't been shown. And a great deal was made of the phone silence for these few hours at the time, sort of before and after the murder and robbery. But it was only for 3 phones, for 3 people. So there's a serious discrepancy there. Plus, I have to remind you again that similar patterns of silence was observed in the same phones, I think 10 or 12 times in the previous 3 weeks leading up to the murder and robbery. So it was nothing extraordinary, it was nothing unusual, as was portrayed by the authorities. So this brings us on to the walkie-talkie. And the mantra from the authorities was there was phone silence because the raiders were using walkie-talkies. And you see there on the screen, this is Bernadette, the credit union worker. She identified the raider that attacked her car as having a Dublin accent. And she also said clearly that he had a walkie-talkie. And I think she said, but I am sure he had a black, bulky walkie-talkie in his left hand. I could definitely see an aerial of some sort on it. So I think that's fairly distinctive, and I do believe that Bernadette's seen a walkie-talkie in the raider's hand. So obviously we have a situation where the authorities need in some way link a walkie-talkie or some sort of mobile device with Aaron or his friends. So this what happened in the court in relation to the walkie-talkie. We've seen some photographs from suspect A's garage, and we've seen a picture of a dusty walkie-talkie, and indeed we do believe it's only a scanner that was actually purchased in the United States of America and didn't work here in Ireland. But that has to be verified as we move forward. So what happened in court? So the theatre again was put into operation. And this is what happened in court. And I think it was Garda Coughlin, after the walkie-talkie was announced as evidence by the prosecution. I'm not sure if it was Mr. Graham or Mr. Stain. And it was paraded up through the court by Garda Coughlin. And this is same Garda Karen Coughlin, who I say misled, and I know she misled the court, the jury and the judge in relation to activity on Aaron's girlfriend's phone. And we've detailed that in previous videos. So it was taken up in a folder, and then this walkie-talkie scanner was taken out, DPP versus Aaron Brady. This is only just the remote control, but this is the way it was presented in court, very dramatically. So that there was a walkie-talkie or some sort of a device in suspect A's garage. Now, there was never one mention of a fingerprint. It was covered in dust. There was never one mention if this was in any way connected to the murder robbery at Lordship Credit Union. Was it ever used by any of the suspects? Garda Coughlin might as well have took up a head of cauliflower in a plastic bag. But it was staged, the theatre was put into full performance. So let's look at a bit more detail of how the walkie-talkie would have been dealt with. So let's say we have the incident room in Dundalk Garda Station in relation to the murder robbery. And here we have some of the people who almost certainly sat round the table. So we put the walkie-talkie scanner into the centre of the table, and I'm sure we had Pat Murray, Senior Investigating Officer, Mr. Mark Phillips, Garda Commissioner Drew Harris, or there was a number of commissioners at the time, but say a senior Garda officer. We had Garda Kenna, Inspector Mangan, Inspector Beggy, and indeed there were different inspectors, and the buck was passed on a number of occasions during the course of Aaron's investigation. But we had these people around the table, and we have the walkie-talkie in the middle. So we have the evidence that I think is quite conclusive that Bernadette, the credit union worker, said that the raider had a walkie-talkie in his left hand. Okay, I think we can take that as read. So they found a scanner, a dusty piece of equipment in suspect A's garage. Now, if any of you, I'm sure many of you have a 4 or 5 year old child and ask them, is the walkie-talkie any good on its own? One of them. That's the first thing. There's been no mention of any other walkie-talkie or if there's any connectivity between any devices. And we also have a situation where the likes of intelligent analyst Mr. McGooey, they would have checked this device again to the nth degree. Where it was purchased, serial numbers. Was it purchased in conjunction with another handset? Was it purchased with a number of handsets? Was there a charger? Where it was bought, when it was made. There is no doubt in the world that that handset went through unbelievable scrutiny. Now, not all these people round the table are stupid. Someone said during the course of the debate in the incident room in Dundalk, some one of them must have said, well, this really doesn't have anything to do with the murder robbery, we can't link it. I've read 2,000 or 3,000 statements, and I've seen a number of people have been asked, did you ever see Aaron Brady? Did you ever see suspect A, suspect B with a walkie-talkie? And everything was negative. And I know other people who have spoken to me since who were questioned by Garda Síochána, and they were asked the same question. And of course they told on Garda Síochána, no. They would have went through, I'm sure, several of all the phones, what was bought on Amazon, online, credit card details, what was bought in, would say Curry's, Matlin's, whatever. No walkie-talkie. So we have a situation in the incident room in Dundalk. Someone must have said, well, this really doesn't have anything to do with the murder and robbery. It's of no real benefit. Let's shelve that. It had nothing to do with the death of Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. But someone in that room said, oh, but we can use it as part of the theatre. We can parade it up through the court, show it in a plastic bag, not mention any forensics whatsoever, and give the opinion to the members of the jury and to the court and to the judge that these people, suspect A and Aaron Brady's friend, have some sort of a handset on their property. And I say once again, they might as well have brought up a head of cauliflower. It would have made the same impact, because neither the cauliflower nor that handset had anything to do with what happened in the car park at Lordship Credit Union. And It was difficult for us to understand it at the time as we sat and watched, because we did know this is a dusty handset, doesn't make any difference. When we looked into it a little bit more, it's quite possible now, and again it'll be detailed as we move forward with other court cases. It's a scanner that was bought in the United States of America, which may not even have worked here in Ireland. Different bands or whatever, I don't understand the technicalities of it. But some of these people in that room, around the table, and obviously this is in conjunction with the DPP, brought that piece of evidence and paraded it through the court. Because I think we all understand what should be brought forward in any case is evidence. This is not evidence. This is misleading. This is another blatant attempt to completely hoodwink and create a narrative that simply does not exist. This is another part of the wall, another brick in the wall that is the miscarriage of justice against Aaron Brady. And that our Irish system, legal system, allowed this to happen, I think is absolutely and totally disgusting. I'll say once again, a handset was brought up, no mention of any forensics whatsoever. I don't know, it was covered in dust. I'm not even sure if there was fingerprints on it. It went through all the rigorous investigations it had to have, and no link to any other handset. And as I said, 4 or 5 year old child knows that one walkie-talkie or one scanner is not really that effective. So it's another part of the story. When we look back in hindsight, it really turns our stomach and it shows the depths these people will go to. And I know this is very difficult for you, the Irish public, to understand or even absorb in any way. But this happened. And it was very much part of the no phones, the silence. There's mountains, there's water, there's no cell sites. Like we were told different things about cell site analysis, but again, that will be dealt with in much more depth as we move forward. So once again, there's a couple more little bits in relation to the creation of the gang. This is another part of it. And once again, I would say to you, Aaron Brady cannot be the man who shot and murdered Garda Adrian Donoghue. Aaron Brady had nothing whatsoever to do with the murder of Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. We'll continue to fight with Aaron's campaign. I'll ask you once again, please like, comment and share. Again, our sites are being attacked and shadow banned and being messed about with. So we need your support. Once again, all we're saying is if you click that like button or share button, all you're doing is showing your interest in this case, and there may be questions to be answered by the authorities. You're not nailing your colours to the mast and saying Aaron Brady's completely innocent. That's our job. But we would like your help in sharing Aaron's side of the story and showing the whole story. And obviously this scanner walkie-talkie episode shows that there is a whole other story behind what the authorities and the Garda Síochána portrayed, peddled and gave as evidence during the course of one of the most serious trials in Irish history. Once again, thank you so much for watching and following. Please like, comment and share, and we'll come back to you very shortly with some more information and some more details in what is a very, very, if not the greatest miscarriage of justice in Irish judicial history. Thank you.